Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain. Welcome to episode 2 of the Liverpool versus Manchester City through the leagues experiment. And in episode 1, as expected, both teams did get promotion from the Vanarama not National League, was it Northern Section League thing. So episode 2, we're in both of them in the Vanarama National League. And again, you would expect them to, to both get promoted again, wouldn't you? Last year, of course, City won the league. Liverpool went up through the playoffs. Is that going to change this year? Time will tell, of course. Manchester City won the Champions League, so they are still in the Champions League for this year. They have a European Super Cup to play between Maidenhead and Hartlepool, so that's interesting. But they did indeed, as you see, they did qualify for the Champions League as defending champions. Let's have a quick look at the transfer history. What happened in between seasons, and it looks as though they have lost some players, doesn't it? David Silva has left to go to Everton. Fabian Delph has left. Patrick Roberts has joined Liverpool. Controversial. Foden has left to join Spurs. Any other big ones here? Casillas has left to join Sydney FC. Go on, boys. Anything here? Discarud has left. So nothing real. The major ones were Silva and Foden, you'd say there, wouldn't you? And the ones that they brought in Sean Maguire from Preston. Oh, we can't see. I've got attributes mask. That was silly, wasn't it? Yeah, so, I mean, they've signed Andrew Robertson from Liverpool. So you can already tell that the players they're signing I mean, they're not big players, are they? They're from sort of a lesser caliber of player there. So, interesting stuff. Let's go and have a look and see what Liverpool has done. Now, of course, they don't have European football this year. So, potentially they're in a little bit more trouble in terms of finances. And they've sold £197 million worth of player. Harry Wilson has left for Newcastle. Divock Origi has left for West Ham. The Ox has left for Fulham. Nathaniel Klein has left for Burnley. I don't know who that is. He's a free transfer. It doesn't matter. Danny Ings has left for Southampton. Mane has left for Paris. Ryan Kent has gone to Brentford. Randall's gone on a free. Robertson, we knew, went to City. Mignolet's left. That's probably a good thing, though, isn't it? Alexander-Arnold has left to go to Arsenal. And Grujic has left to go to Huddersfield, and they've only bought in 2 players. Albeit, I mean, Ayling from Leeds is a good player. Roberts from Manchester City is a good player. But that is a massive clear out and not much coming in either. Now, I do wonder how much wages has had to play in that. They still have a very, very good team. I mean, certainly, by Premier League standards, they have a decent team. By National League standards, they have an absolutely stunning team, don't they? But it will be interesting, as I said last episode, to see how the finances, as much as anything, develop from this. All the leagues are about to start. Now, there is no transfer window in the National League, but the Premier League window is closed. So what we'll do now is we'll skip through to the end of the January transfer window. Let's see how City's going in Europe. How many more players can Liverpool can still sign players, let's not forget. So it may be that they will be able to bring players in. 197 million is a lot of money to bring in from player sales, so I'm sure they'll be able to strengthen if they need to. Alright, we are at February 1st. Let's go and have a look. First of all, see how the league's going, and then we'll see how the transfer windows have wrapped up. And we can see, wow, Liverpool, City have a lot of games in hand, 5 games in hand, but Liverpool have a nice little gap that they do have a loss. City beat Liverpool in the league. So assuming that Manchester City are going to go through undefeated here, they will be, 3 points clear top of the league, won't they? And you would imagine that would be the case. Now, let's start with Liverpool, because I think they're sort of the more interesting case right now because they don't have European football. I mean, their finances are the ones that could collapse, first of all, here. Let's go and have a look, actually, at the profile. Their finances, they're rich again. So, I mean, you're still 197 million pounds worth of players. You're probably going to be rich. Jurgen Klopp is still in charge. He hasn't been tempted away as of yet. Transfer history. They signed Ben Osborne from Forest. They've sold a few other players. Lovren has left, as has Joe Gomez, Milner, and Oja. Now, I don't necessarily... Some of these youngsters are strange ones, though, in the sense that you would imagine they'd want to keep them. They are more likely to be the players that they would build a future team around. So that's going well. Now, actually, the other thing we should look at with Liverpool is the FA Cup. Because if they were to win the FA Cup, that could be a route for them back into Europe, couldn't it? So FA Cup... They lost in the 4th round to Brentford, 2-1. That's that's got to be a little bit disappointing, and maybe that's just a sign of where they're starting to get to, is that they can't beat, I'm assuming Brentford would be a championship club. Yeah, they can't beat a championship club in the FA Cup. That, I would think, would be a worrying sign for Liverpool. And let's have a look at Manchester City. Now, they are, of course, still in the Champions League as well, aren't they? So a couple of things to look at here. They played the World Club Final, and they won that. So they are world champions in the Vanarama North. Did they get out of their Champions League group? They did. They topped a relatively straightforward group, but they topped it with only dropping 2 points. So that's good for them. They are into the Champions League knockout round where they'll play Dortmund. Are they still in the FA Cup? They are still in the FA Cup as well. They have Wolves in the next round. So you've got to say Champions League money definitely helping them, and of course they would have got money for the World Club Championship as well. They are looking in a much better position right now, aren't they? Any other sales that have taken place? So here we go here. This is new ones. Fernandinho has left. That's really only the major out there. Claudio Bravo has left as well, but I don't think that's necessarily a major loss for them. And signings, is this a new one? No, that's not a. Oh well, it's new from since we were last here. They've signed. I really wish I unmasked stats now. That's a rookie error, isn't it? Sorry guys, that's really annoying that I haven't done that. So halfway through the year, Manchester City are looking to still be in a decent position, still in Europe, still in the FA Cup, and potentially top of the league as well, assuming that they don't lose or drop the points to anybody else other than outside of Liverpool. Liverpool, they look as though they're destined for the playoffs again unless they can beat Manchester City. And they're out. They have no way back into Europe for next season as well. So we'll come back at the end of the year and let's see how this wraps up. Okay, welcome back. It is now the end of the season. It's May 18th. Let's have a look at how the league ended up. And once again, Liverpool went up through the playoffs, beating Crewe in the final, which means Manchester City did indeed end up winning the league by 3 points. They drew the second game between Liverpool and Manchester City. So, as you'd expect, again, they did run away with the league. 50 points clear. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But that's what you expect, isn't it? That's what we expect. But City, once again, have beaten Liverpool to the title. Now, the big questions here. Let's start with Liverpool again. Now, we already knew they were knocked out of the FA Cup. We already knew that they were not in, obviously, in Europe. Finances are still rich, so that's good news for them. Were there any late transfers? Riyad Mahrez, they signed. So they did make a few signings deadline day in March. Look at that. So they got, where are we here? Finley in. That's a new one, isn't it? Benjamin Mendy as well. Benjamin Mendy, they signed him. What sort of wages is he on? He is on 160 grand a week. So they're not struggling. They're still handing out big contracts. Stuart Finley, Alan Brown from Preston. They've raided Preston again. Bamford from Leeds. Tavernier. Now, he's a good young player, isn't he, from Middlesbrough. Rico Henry and Riyad Mahrez. So they spent 60 million. They've brought in... they've sold some more players here as well. Henderson went off to Manchester City, as did 32 million for Jordan Henderson. So really, Manchester City, there's an element of them just funding Liverpool here, but they are switching players. They are switching players. Sort of Henderson, it looks like, and Riyad Mahrez have switched places there. So and Benjamin Mendy as well. So still a decent team for Liverpool. They're still rated as rich in the finances, so I don't think there's anything to worry about just yet. They're definitely going to have a team more than capable of doing well in League 2. The question is just kind of how much longer, how long are these before these finances fade away. Now, Manchester City still in Europe, of course, still in the FA Cup. How far did they go? How far did they go here? They got knocked out of the Champions League. It looks like were they able to overcome a second leg defeat there? No, they would have been knocked out, wouldn't they? So they're not going to be in the Champions League next year. How far did they go in the FA Cup? FA Cup semi-final. They have an FA Cup final. They won the FA Cup final against Manchester United. They just keep finding a way to get into Europe. Now, of course, we've got to remember they're only in Europa League now. So that's going to be way, way less money. So that might hurt them. They're still, they're still considered as rich. What other transfers did they do? They just signed the two players from Liverpool. Did they sell anybody later on after the transfer window? Just the players to Liverpool, really, wasn't it? And a minor one out to Montreal Impact. So, the plot thickens in a way, doesn't it? Because now neither of them have Champions League money, neither of them have Premier League money. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how they go into, up into League 2. Now, again, both of them should still be more than capable of winning promotion out of that league. But there will, of course, be 2 automatic spots now. They won't have to go into playoffs. They'll have the, what's it called? The Carabao Cup now as well. So it's another chance for them to get into Europe. But with neither of them in the Champions League next year, Manchester City they could get back in the Champions League, of course, by winning Europa League. And you'd have to say they're a chance of doing that, wouldn't you? But both of them are going to be gunning for those 2 cups. They need to continue moving up the league, but they need to go for those cups to get back in the Europa League. I do wonder if Liverpool are we're just starting to see signs. If you look, we look at their transfer history, we're just starting to see signs that they're struggling a little bit. They're not going to be able to sell off, I wouldn't have thought, £300 million worth of players again next year, are they? I mean, let's look at the values that they have here. They still have Salah. He could go for big money. Van Dijk, Fabiano could go for big money. So he wants to leave. Alisson wants to leave as well. I mean, this is the other problem: is how long are these players happy down in these sort of reaches of the leagues? They do have some assets there, but yeah, I do wonder if Liverpool's going to. No, then they're going to get promoted next year, you would imagine. But I wonder if they're going to start to creep before Manchester City. Anyway, guys, the plot thickens in this one. Let me know, thumbs up if you have enjoyed this, if you are enjoying the experiment. And if you are new, just discovering the channel, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you don't upload new episodes. We'll be back to next time, and we will see in episode 3 how they do in League 2. Can City get back into the Champions League with winning the UEFA Cup? Oh, Europa League, sorry, I'm showing my age there, aren't I? And, yeah, with 2 cups to go for, can Liverpool go deep in one of them and get themselves back into Europe as well? Anyway, that's all for next time, guys. I've been Aussie Villain. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.